what happened to us that taught us to fear those visible signs of aging?
Okay, let's see what comes through. What I've just been shown is that because we're at this precipice of awakening, it's that like there was like it's literally like a glitch in the matrix. Therefore, we're trying to freeze ourselves from moving forward. It's not about staying young in our minds. It's about staying physical and in our prime in that respect. I'll just go into this a little bit deeper. That's probably not clear at this stage. There's this unwillingness to want to step forward into our own divinity. It's like putting a freeze frame on time because we see and experience time as linear, that there's this aversion to wanting, when you, that last, my husband always says that the last 10 yards is the hardest. And it's sort of like that's where we are with Ascension too. If we look at this as a bigger thing, we're in that last phase. So there's this pullback, almost like, oh, I don't want to let go of this physicality that I feel, or that I know that I'm not going to have the opportunity to have that again. So I'm going to hold it in its most perfect state, amplified by social media and how we communicate in the world now. So it's now inbred with some like these layers of toxicity that I'm sort of getting shown as well, because there's all that comparison and it's like the collective is just fueling itself to stay forever young. But it's really about staying physical versus moving into a more lighted consciousness.
Ascending into that light body where perhaps there may not be as much as a physical bag of bones.
Yeah. I guess being in the physical, we have physical metrics of sensory enjoyment and things like that. So we're holding on to those things that we see as beautiful, because we don't realize that there's so much more beauty still to come in a different way. That feels like this undercurrent of what it actually is. It's not how it's presenting on the outside, but that's like a trigger. The closer we get to Ascension, the more we're trying to hold on to the physical in its perfection. And just so much about the distortion of that, because we see so many people, men and women, actually holding themselves in these frozen states of their face and their features beyond what's normal, beyond what's beautiful. So there's this other like whole level of distortion that's part of that. Let's see what else there is. There's a bit about sex in here, or attraction. I'm seeing the male and the female not wanting to give away that physical intimacy, and that that God, that could go to just got the porn dropping, like so many other layers that could take to. It's all about maintaining that physical contact. Everything physical is exploding and being exploited because it's at risk of disappearing in a consciousness way. There's a distortion that's coming through because of technology as well. It's sort of like running parallel with Ascension. We can use technology to improve or keep us young in so many ways, that cyborg type of thing. Again, it's about controlling the dynamics of consciousness. So not only can we control the physical being, our technology allows us to control the mental as well. So it's like we've created a complete package of holding us into some kind of manufactured stasis so that we don't go here on the Ascension path, which is the natural dropping of physicality and the natural awakening of abilities beyond the norm, or beyond the standard human as we see it right now. So it's like both of them are running parallel from each other, because they both are trying to get to the same end point, one that's controlled and one that's free but unknown, which unknown brings fear.